Hello class, we were studying the lesson Why Do We Fall Ill? So in part 1 we have already studied about health and its failure, significance of health. At the same time we all have studied about healthy and disease free terms. Now we have to continue the lesson and study few other terms related to health. Infectious and non-infectious causes. As we all have studied that, it is very important to keep public health and community health factors in mind when we think about the causes of diseases, because public health and community health is very much important. We can take that approach a little further. It is useful to think of the immediate causes of diseases into two distinct types. One such group of causes of diseases is the infectious agents. Who are the infectious agents? Those are the microbes or the microorganisms. So the diseases where microbes are the immediate cause for the spread of the disease are said to be infectious diseases, because microbes can spread in community and the diseases they cause will spread with them. There are also diseases that are not caused by infectious agents, but they are not external cause like microbes that can spread in the community. Instead, they are internal, like it is said to be non-infectious causes. For example, some cancers are caused by genetic abnormalities. High BP or high blood pressure can be caused due to excessive weight and lack of exercise in us. So all these are said to be non-infectious causes. So diseases can be either infectious disease or non-infectious disease. So infectious diseases are caused by microbes. That we have to keep in mind. Let us study in detail about the infectious agents or the disease called the infectious disease, which is caused by the microbes. We all have studied about the diversity seen in the living world, which are classified into different groups. And this classification was based on common characteristics between different organisms. So organisms that can cause disease are found in wide range of such categories of classification. So, which are the organisms that are able to spread disease? Those are the viruses, bacteria, fungi and protozoans. So, the disease are called infectious disease because these are caused by microorganisms. Some diseases are also caused by multicellular organisms. For example, it may be worms. There are worms of different kinds which will cause diseases in human beings. For example, we have elephantiasis or elephant leg disease. It is also caused by worms. Even we have few other examples which are caused by viruses. For example, common cold, influenza, dengue fever and AIDS. So these diseases are caused by viruses. Diseases like typhoid, fever, cholera, tuberculosis and anthrax are caused by bacteria. Many common skin infections are caused by different kinds of fungi. Diseases such as malaria and Kala Azar are caused by protozoan microbes. So all of us have also come across intestinal worm infections. So we take worm tablets, isn't it children? Yes. So these worm infections are caused by different species of worms. Why it is important that we think of these categories of infectious agents? Why do we need to categorize these infectious agents? Because when we categorize these agents into different groups, it will be easy for us to take the treatment. Members of each one of these groups, for example, it may be virus, bacteria or protozoans, will have many biological characteristics in common. For example, if we take virus, it will live inside host cells, whereas bacteria, it will not live inside the host cell. Sometimes it does, but it is very rare cases. Viruses, bacteria and fungi multiply very quickly, but the worms multiply very slowly as compared to bacteria or fungi. All bacteria are closely related to each other than to virus. So, important life processes are similar in the bacteria group but are not shared with the virus group. As a result, drugs that block one of these life processes in one member of the group is likely to be effective against many other members of the group. So, the drugs or the medicines whatever we take will not work against a microbe belonging to different group. So, if we take one drug of a particular kind against one group, it may not work against the other group of microbe. For example, if we take antibiotics, what are antibiotics? For example, we have penicillin, isn't it? So, these antibiotics commonly block biochemical pathways that are important for bacteria. Many bacteria, for example, make a cell wall to protect themselves. I was speaking about penicillin. So, the antibiotic penicillin blocks the bacterial processes that build the cell wall. As a result, the growing bacteria becomes unable to make cell walls and will die easily. So, what is the function of antibiotic? So, antibiotics will block the bacterial processes that build the cell wall inside the host body. Human cells does not make a cell wall. So, penicillin cannot have such an effect on us. Penicillin will have effect on any bacteria that use such processes for making cell walls. So, many other antibiotics work against many species of bacteria rather than simply working against one. Means of spread. So, how will the infectious diseases spread from one person to another? There are variety of means for the spread. So, such diseases which spreads from one person to another is known as the communicable diseases, since it can be communicated easily from one person to another. So, there are varieties of ways by which these communicable diseases will spread. How is that? The disease-causing microbes can spread through air. First of all, the disease-causing microbes can spread through air. How does it occur? It will occur through the little droplets thrown out by an infected person who sneezes or coughs. So, what we have to do, if we are affected, we have to close our mouth when we sneeze or when we cough. Someone standing close by can breathe in these droplets and the microbes will get a chance to start a new infection. So many diseases which spreads through air are common cold, pneumonia and tuberculosis. We all have had an experience that sitting near someone suffering from cold and catching it ourselves. Isn't it, children? Yes. Or if someone in our family is suffering from cold, obviously even we will catch it after 4 or 5 days. The more likely it is that such airborne diseases will spread when we are close to the affected person. Diseases can also be spread through water. So how does it occur? This occurs if the excreta from someone suffering from an infectious gut disease such as cholera maybe get mixed with the drinking water used by people living nearby. If the infected person excretes near the water source and the excreta gets mixed with the drinking water source, then of course even the other people will have infection, isn't it? Yes, the cholera causing microbes will enter new host through the water they drink and cause disease in them. Such diseases are more likely to spread in the absence of safe supplies of drinking water. One more way of spreading communicable disease is the sexual act. The sexual act is one of the closest physical contact between two people. So, there are microbial diseases such as syphilis or AIDS that are transmitted by sexual contact from one partner to the other. So, which are the two diseases which get transmitted through sexual contact? That is syphilis or AIDS. AIDS means acquired immunodeficiency syndrome caused by the virus HIV. However, such sexually transmitted diseases are not spread by casual physical contact. Casual physical contact means maybe handshakes or hugs or sports like wrestling will come under physical contact. So these diseases will not spread just through physical contact. So these diseases like syphilis and AIDS will cause through sexual contact between two or more people. The AIDS virus can also spread through blood-to-blood contact with infected person or from an infected mother. If the mother is suffering from AIDS, then the baby may suffer from the same disease. Okay? We live in an environment that is full of many other creatures apart from us, isn't it? It is inevitable that many diseases will be transmitted by other animals also. These animals carry the infecting agents from a sick person to another potential host. So these animals are thus the intermediaries and are called as vectors. The animals which carry the germs or the infectious agents along with them are known as the vectors. The commonest vector all of us know is the mosquitoes. Of course, mosquitoes are found everywhere, isn't it, children? And those are the most commonest vectors. In many species of mosquitoes, the females need highly nutritious food in the form of blood in order to be able to lay mature eggs. What they do? Mosquitoes will feed on many warm-blooded animals including human beings. Like this, they can transfer disease from person to person. In this chart, you can see the common methods of transmission of diseases. See, from the mosquito or from the animals or the vectors, by food, from indirect contact, by air or direct contact from the infected person to a healthy person. So now we all know how the communicable diseases will spread from one person to another. It may be by air, water, or direct contact, or through vectors.